Peace, peace. Have it now. Now it's a vibrator, of course. Matter of fact, walking out of Walmart. Out of Wally World. Had to go get me a little kombucha after my little Thanksgiving, my Thanksgiving shenanigans, aka family day. You know, quote unquote Thanksgiving, but anyway, I come across this. I always kind of check the red box to see what kind of movies they got in there, you know, and I come across this movie named Ken, you know, and I look at it, and I never watched it, you know. Again, I just read what they say it's about, you know, through the red box, and like, oh, spoiler alert, but you could go do the, you know, read this anyway. But like, whereas one brother, his orphan or his adopted brother gets taken by these thugs, this and that, and he finds this type of machinery that's like some ancient or alien type of machinery, and now federal agents and those thugs are now after him and his brother type of vibe. But I caught like a little download from High Self where it was like, you know, that's the bullshit that they try to pull to like activate some type of innate memories in, like, to activate certain little memories inside of us, you know, that may be dormant. But like, you know, by you watching the movie about uncovering some ancient, you know, weaponry and stuff like that, you know, you might have like a little flashback into a past life and remember like, oh shit, I was the one who made this or that or that or this, or I got some little information stashed somewhere, you know. So be aware of again, all the little chess games being played with the movies. Also, you know, they're trying to play on the top of, you know, the psychology of melanated people in America. Been doing it, you know, as far as like disguising whether it's like a Planet of the Apes style or like aliens, like Alien Nation, you know, or anything that kind of, or like X-Men, you know, where it's like it's mutants against humans, or people with powers against humans, or, you know, Batman versus Superman, because that dynamic was played out in the, I don't know if they came out with a Batman Superman movie since, but the last one that they had, you know, with that dynamic of, you know, what if Superman trip out? What if he get mad at us? What if, you know, this and that? It's like, bruh. But long story short, you know, I call it the Magneto dynamic, you know, and just like MK Ultra is trying to shatter, like that's why some of the movies might start off with a shattered mirror, or they have a shattered mirror in it, because it's representing shattering your personality, you know, or shattering, you know, your you know, the wholeness of your personality into the little small areas of your psyche, and you know, bringing you into a certain place. And so, say for instance, like, and I was talking to my cousins about that, like, well, you know, with Magneto on X-Men, if you're familiar with X-Men, and again, I don't know if it's Stan Lee or whoever wrote up these characters around the same time of the civil rights movement, you know, Xavier and Magneto. Now Magneto on the vibe of like, you know, bruh, fuck the humans. They always been fucking over us and trying to, you know, of course they got some good ones, but for the most part, they're always constantly trying to fuck with us. Whenever we let our guard down, they the ones who end up fucking over us, you know. And he kind of like, you know, but he's on the, and two, they make it about extreme, so he's on the extreme of that though. He's like, no letting up, like just completely like, fuck them, you know. And then Xavier is on the other extreme, you know, like the Martin Luther King, you know, vibe. Again, Magneto, Malcolm X, but on the Martin Luther King vibe of like, you know, to turn the other cheek, love them no matter how many times they kick us in the ass. We still gotta, you know, be nice and be good, you know, this and that. But it's to the extreme, you know. And I'm like, what they're trying to do is you know, either way it go. So say for instance, the best situation in that is to be in the balance or integrated spot of like, well shit, you know, of course I don't hate nobody and trying to harm nobody, You know, so somewhat of the Xavier, like I feel where Xavier coming from, but at the same time, I feel Magneto coming from too. Like, you know, I'm not gonna constantly let somebody fuck doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results is insanity. And for melanated people to feel like somebody could give us lip service about, oh, it's not racist no more in America, on some lip service shit, but everything we see around us says otherwise, you know, it's like, you know, again, you know, and standing up for, you know, the justice of being treated equally, you know. But again, what they trying to do though, because it's a win-win situation for the government if they get you to the Xavier vibe of like just coaching everybody to be docile, be nice, no matter what. If they spit in your face or, you know, let the German shepherds bite you on the leg, you know, whatever, just be nice, you know, this and that. And with that vibe, you know, you docile, you keeping, and also demasculinizing the men, you know, keeping you docile on that vibe, you know, and that works out for them, because that keep you out of the way, that keep you from, you know, standing up for yourself, you know, you'll stand up for yourself in a manner where it might make you feel like you're doing something, but in the most part, again, that's why Martin Luther King was allowed to march, because he wasn't talking about, you know, the way the subconscious mind work, and and that we all have the power to, you know, manifest things with our minds and our words, which though he wasn't about to get into exactly that point of it, but he was, you know, he was starting to get to a point of like, all right, fuck this shit, I know what's really good. And as he was coming to those realizations, that's when they was like, all right, we gotta take him out, you know. But again, they want you either, you know, with the docile vibe, and then how it work out for them if you get like the overly, like, you know, like, oh, fuck them all, this and that, then they could try to, you know, it works in their favor to label you as a terrorist, you know, as somebody that's just like, oh, well, shit, he's a terrorist, you know. And of course, you know, look at what they do. They let KKK people march on City Hall and do all that shit, you know what I'm saying, and they don't get called terrorists. You know, again, that's an obvious sign of what's really going on. But again, you know, that will work in their favor, because they would be able to, you know, try to swing something, you know, in that manner. But if you balance though about the idea, like, oh no, I'm not trying to, you know, harm nobody, I'm not trying to feed nobody children to alligators, I'm not trying to enslave nobody. I'm just, you know, acknowledging that I know who I am and what I am, and I'm no longer allowing myself to be mistreated, you know. Like, but again, these little movies, you're gonna see a lot of the little cartoons, the animes is about somebody fighting between the dark side and the light side, their human side or their God side. Like it's trying to break people's psyches, you know, down into being on one side or the other, you know, and in essence have you on some MK Ultra vibes, and they doing that from, you know, from way far away, so they could have you on some mind control vibes without them having to actually, you know, sit you down and run you through anything, like on the Manchurian Candidate, where you had to, like, they would get them and they would kind of brainwash them in essence, you know, run them with some little lights and machinery, stuff like that. But again, a lot of these movies be, you know, trying to, you know, activate, you know, it's multiple different things, you know. But with that storyline, like that movie Akin, like I started off talking about, that's to activate some little dormant energy somewhere in you, you know, that's on that vibe of like, you know, like, oh, I remember, you know, a certain machinery or this and that, and try to have you, you know, and another thing too, to have you fearing anything, period, you know. And that's another thing, be courageous, be fearless, there's nothing to fear. Like, we manifest things with our thoughts, and that's why everything is about us getting to a place of eating healthy, you know, keeping our thoughts, you know, in order, as far as like, you know, clearing our mind with meditation, you know, because when we eating unhealthy and allowing this negativity and lower vibrations to dwell in our vessel, then it'll have us in a place of being scared of certain things, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, we are God on the human experience, you know, source on the human experience. And, you know, none of these things are to be feared, you know. For the most part, that's the reading I get on most people who, you know, stood up for certain things and, you know, may have, how can I say, been put into the transition, so to speak, you know, quote unquote killed, you know. But it was more so through certain fears that kind of came over them. And a lot of that has to deal with the company we keep, you know, as well. Like, we don't want nobody being negative or trying to, you know, fear mongers about certain things, you know, situations like that. But again, like the little movie Kin, you know, like I mean, as in kin to, you know, like the aliens and this and that. Again, they try to use that ancient aliens vibe as cover-ups to not want to say, hey man, the indigenous people been on this planet for a long time and motherfuckers knew how to fucking do shit. And not only that, but the motherfucking melanated motherfuckers walking around this planet right now is them motherfuckers reincarnated. You know, we can't say that. Shh, be quiet. You know, we gotta probe them and test them like scientists, you know, in the Skinner box, and send them to school and, you know, and do all these different things. And then we just, you know, hopefully they don't find out who and what they are. Because, again, subconscious programming. You could be, like, matter of fact, I think about like how they got like the little cattle or little cows won't cross out of a yard because they feel like the little gates, like how they have like these little poles on the ground, and they feel like in their head that they hoofs may fall through it, but really it won't. But, you know, it's subconscious programming. You know, they feeling like, oh no, I ain't walking over that. But you know, is a proof, you know, subconscious programming runs 95. I just use 95 to be, you know, really like 99.9. But 95% or more of what you do, say, act, like the way you carry yourself, especially in autopilot mode. Like, that's all being ran by your subconscious mind. Is a fact that your subconscious mind can be programmed by subtle, you know, especially symbols and images, you know, because we are peoples that existed way before languages existed, you know, way before, way before we were calling the continent, because that name Africa comes from like some Roman or Greek person named something Africanus anyway. But, you know, way before the continent of Africa and speaking any language, you know, from Africa, quote unquote, you know, we were, you know, using telepathic messages to each other, and that was through symbols, you know, like just a whole message, like almost like movie style, you know. And that's why, that's the basis of movies, and like reason why they call it Hollywood, you know, the magic of the subconscious and the wood from the holly tree, you know, like with the you know, with a magician or, you know, sorcerer, or like, again, but more so a magician, not necessarily a sorcerer. But you know, using that for magic. And Hollywood used the movies to subconsciously program, you know, almost the whole planet in essence, because a lot of people watch a lot of Disney movies and all that. And I tell people it's no coincidence that Disney's swallowing up all these businesses. You know, swallowing up Lucasfilms, that's the Star Wars people. Swallowed up Marvel, you know, with the Marvel Comics, you know, with the heroes. Swallowed up ESPN with sports, you know. Like, you done heard a few ESPN analysts like, oh, now we work for Disney, I can't say that or this and that, you know. Like, and they've been on that tip shit. Disney been on ESPN for a nice little minute. But, you know, again, but you know, again, just peeping the game of these movies. You know, they definitely trying to trigger some dormant energy inside of a lot of us. So something pop off, talk to people who you could talk to and trust. you know. But again, you have nothing to fear, except for being around somebody that will cause you to start fearing things. Like matter of fact, like they say, fear. Only thing to fear is fear itself. Of course, you have a certain awareness of what's going on around you, but you never want to fear anything. And that's why it's so important of getting the subconscious to a place of realizing that we are a guide on the human experience. Speaking for myself, having my own psychedelic experience, basically almost like a death experience, in one case, I was allowed to see like, all right, yeah, I'm not going anywhere, I'll leave this little bodysuit behind, this little name that I kind of indirectly chose for myself. Kind of probably tapped my parents, like, just name me after my daddy. Cause again, like the gematria, like everything is like the Matrix, matter of fact, Matrix, gematria, with where these certain letters, like Hebrew letters, Greek letters, and then the alphabet, English alphabet, all breaking down into numerical values, and those numerical values give off certain energies. And those certain energies go into what type of personality or vibe we have or give off. Science and spirituality is one and the same. God is everything. So it's the science on this motherfucker too. Just not a lot of that fake science that they be pushing, especially that NASA shit. Operation Paperclip. What's his name? Van Werner. One of the officers from the Nazis moved straight from the Holocaust straight to NASA. And as much as the country like, oh yeah, NASA this, NASA that, and we feel sorry for people and sympathize, well, why in the hell would you hire somebody straight from the Holocaust, to be ahead of, your NASA, this NASA program. But again, having that awareness and a lot of programming. Netflix kind of down with the program too, so be aware of their foolishness that may pop up as well. When I saw they drop Scorpion King right when October, like getting close to Halloween, Scorpion King hit, I'm like, oh yeah, they dealing with the Scorpio energy and the ancestors and the underworld. There was something about some souls. I'm like, they always trying to have you fearing your God self, and it'll become obvious because honestly, whoever watching this, if you was like on the fence about it, after I'm saying this, now it's just gonna become more and more blaringly obvious how they trying to get you on one side, like the primordial evil energy. Like matter of fact, like again, I noticed that with Seven Deadly Sins with Meliodas, being part demon and dealing with that energy. I'm like, oh yeah, he part human, part demon, and he could turn any time, and making a person scared of their own melanin again, and hating themselves or looking at it as evil or bad. That's why they've been, from the black mamba, the snake, most poisonous snake, got black in his name. One of the most poisonous spiders, the black widow, got black in it. Like everything is trying to make, like, oh, the darkness, Then H.P. Lovecraft, with, all the different ancient, the great old ones, and Cthulhu, and I think about, now I'm gonna keep bullshitting about that, Shub Nigger Rat. Like that's one of the names of the great old ones, you know, that H.P. Lovecraft, you know, had in this little story. It's like, man, you know, but you see the correlations, you know. But just wanted to, you know, share on that vibe, making sure we realize that these holidays have energetic relationships behind them, and that's a relationship, energetic you know, significance, I should say, behind it, and to be aware of, you know, still keeping up with the, you know, the inner self, higher self, you know, still you know, doing you know, doing what we should be doing to take care of mind, body, and soul, you know, like, cause it's a correlation, you know, mind, body, and spirit, you know, making sure we do what we gotta do, and going with the flow of what feels right for us to take care of mind, body, and spirit. That's first and foremost, you know. Not trying to play everything by the book or by what, you know, what Universal Frequency said in the video, or what so-and-so said in the video, or what, you know, at the end of the day, you know, again, and that's why it's about getting in touch with your inner guidance, you know, going what feels right for your mind, body, and soul, you know, from you know, from the vibe of what feels right, you know, for you, or what feels right to you, you know. But that's you know, yeah, that's basically just again, and I'm just something just, I guess, just keep telling me to ring that in, because it's gonna be a lot of that programming, and say for instance some of us who deal with psychedelics and, you know, stuff like that, where we could get, you know, our minds open, and then, you know, certain programming get pushed into our subconscious without us realizing it, you know, and we'll fall, you know, into these vibes. I definitely had to be aware of certain things myself as I was watching, you know, some of this, so just wanted to share that. But that's basically it. Peace. Happy now, of course. Not too far in the future. Not too far in the past. Right now.